So very good morning to all of you. And after listening to Ms. Sonal in a quite allied way and giving us the ways, right, how the science and technology in total should move, and Madam has already asked us to relieve all the whatever the negative things, right, whatever the kind of depressions we generally feel when we talk about how science and technology is moving up and what are the major challenges which we have to address for our future generation is very, very important. So coming to the context of the talk, if you look at this code to, right, company. So when you talk about code to company, something which ma'am was also talking, ideas to innovation and innovation to investment. And this is nowadays new motto, new theme for new education era. So already NEP 2020 has come into the picture, all of you know that. And where is this system? Yeah, this side or? This side or so?
This moves forward from here, sir.
This side?
Yeah,
fine,
point
perfect,
it over here.
perfect.
That's for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So when we talk about this ideas to innovation and innovation to investment, a lot of things are to be right in picture. Why we are here? I thank the business world for organizing this session, and I thank all the distinguished personalities, those who are sitting up the dais to listen to me. The thoughts of the day when you talk about, right, in total, that Viksit Bharat 2047, what we aim, and how science and engineering education should change, because now it is not the engineering, I always call it STEM, and STEM is something like that, where you talk about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and that mathematics last M is mathematics, management, and money also. Because engineering, education, or any kind of education at the end we look at in terms of the business. And now this business, when you talk about, opportunities are there. And this will start when you think in terms of, as I said, ideas to innovation. So when the young student, they come to the class, now it is not a classroom teaching. The classroom teaching has totally changed now. And the tools like what ma'am was also talking, I think we have to include artificial intelligence, virtual lab, and augmented reality in our teaching approach. So pedagogy has to be improved now, and how AI tools can be used in the education is very, very important. All of you must observe those who are in the education that nowadays the students have a different kind of mindset. Everything is available in the Google. Why will they listen to the teacher? We have to make that thing as a challenge. And Carnegie Mellon has done that study. Several other organizations are also doing this study, that after 10 minutes, when you explain something in the classroom, that the students, they get diverted. The reason is obvious, right? If they feel the class is boring, then nobody will, or nobody would like to sit there, or they will start with the mobile. So we have to make the changes. Some case studies have to come there. Some topic has to be changed as per the need, or maybe a kind of relaxation session, anti-stress session, and these are also need of the education. So when you talk about Atal Tinkering Lab, this is where the right ideas to innovation, and the government has given us the opportunity to revamp our education system. So with this concept, when you see that, how the startups are coming into the picture, that is very, very important. Every institute, or in terms of not only one institute, I will say a team of the institutes, it may be national level, international level. I think the collaboration is the need of the hour, and that is also we need to look at. So it means the education system, whether it is 10+2 level, medical, engineering, or any branch of science engineering, I'm saying, because we have to club the team. One branch of science or one branch of engineering is not giving you these kind of startups. We have to give the knowledge of engineering, which may be in terms of mechanical, because everybody is thinking in terms of the computer science and IT. Friends, we have to change that mindset. We have to change the mindset of our parents also, because everybody looks in terms of the package. Package, short-term package, or long-term package, we have to understand that. What is our responsibility towards the society is very, very important. And I think, I always tell my students also, that give them a message that how can you make the society happy, right? With your knowledge, with your education, that is more important, and that is the key to success. And this is, I think, we have to train them in that way, and this is what we talk about, a kind of technical foundations, right? This is very, very important because they are learning the engineering, but they have to learn the other branches of science engineering, and that's why the curriculum has given you major degree and the minor degree. And then make a team, build a team, and then think for these kind of, right, innovative studies and bring it into the concept. So something where the education system, you see, is totally changing in terms of the innovative skills. Several brainstorming sessions are required, discussions are required, and kind of stress buster things are also very, very important, because this is a very, very important that we have now in terms of the wellness centers, we need more and more psychiatrists in the institute. This is also a challenge. I think new courses, something like when we talk about Indian knowledge system, our heritage value, our culture value, where the people were enjoying the life, they had a family culture, they were connected with the society. Now everybody is working in isolation and just thinking in terms of the money making, and money is not the key to the success, money is not making you happy. That message has to go with the every individual student, and we have to train them. So they have to understand these kind of practical things like analytical thinking, problem-solving approach, technical adaptability, and finally, the case studies, which is a connectivity with the industry. So every course should have some component that if this is being taught in the day one of the class, why this course is important, why this, in what way this course would be helpful, either to the society or to the industry at large. Because we have to promote the hardcore industries also, so we have to tell them that use this AI tool, use these tools of machine learning, AR, VR, right, in the program so that it will be helpful to the society or it will be helpful to the industry at large. So when we talk about society, already you know, women empowerment, child education, and sustainable agriculture, climate change. Temperature is increasing, right? Global warming is the impacting. Glacier melting is an issue. Heavy floods, rains, these are the changing trends which are coming up because we are generating the waste. We are not able to manage that waste, e-waste, plastic waste, and all the landfills which are now coming up, that is to be resolved. I think that is also very, very important that every engineer has to find a solution, or we have to find a solution as a team, and this is where I think the practical problems are very, very important, rather teaching them just the bookish knowledge that is not required for the future. So for that, applied research is very, very important. So fundamental, now we don't encourage the publishing the paper, we don't encourage the patents filing. Impact of the research is very, very important. And we should not run for the QS ranking or an IRF ranking. That is also very important because we are always running toward the realistic world. We always just quest for that. I say that, do give your best, right? If you are doing hard, working hard, if you are giving your best, automatically you will be doing the excellence, what ma'am was also talking, and your ranking will automatically will be improved. So practical knowledge and the case studies and those kind of, right, ideas to innovation, right, and innovation to investment, that should be, I think, our motto. And we have to tell them, every young generation, that think in that way, right? And there may be several challenges also. So failure is also part of life. 100,000, which I'm saying, the startups which are there, only 10% or even less than that are successful as of today. That is also a kind of practical training, a kind of, right, strength to the mind. They have to learn that failure is also a part of learning, and once they are failure one time, definitely that path should not be repeated. And this is what we do in the research also, publish articles, because one has done, somebody has done, the other has to take it to the next level and learn from the failure and take it to the next level. That is also very, very important. And finally, we can talk in terms of the market-driven, that is the need of the society. The basic need is just like if you talk, I always tell this, HAWA nexus, which is nothing but food, energy, and water. This is the basic need of the society. But are our education, or through our education, are we able to solve these problems of the globe? Right? The water scarcity, every part of the rural area, still they are deprived of the potable water. This is the global problem. Same thing in terms of clean energy, everybody is talking, right? And what I say that you talk in terms of that, how much food, what kind of nutritious food is being provided. I think this is the basic need, and we have to, through our knowledge, through our science and education, we have to understand that how can we do all these kind of things. So startup integration, whether it can be a small scale, it can be through a mobile app also, like just like for the agriculture area, an example, we developed, or our student developed this mobile app, which can measure the climatic conditions, soil properties, and then give the farmers the idea what kind of, right, the agricultural land that should be cultivated, what kind of crops should be there, when the fertilization should be done, how much water is to be used, because management of these things are very, very important. And this is where I think through science and through engineering, we can do this, and we have to talk a complete right when you talk about the education, meaning that theory to practice and crafting engineers for the tomorrow, which is very important and need for the future. So when you talk about, right, this transition of technologists and how to make them entrepreneur, this is also very important. So first year to second year, how they take it, that's what the Atal Tinkering Lab does, and most of the universities have now the Atal Tinkering Lab, and now there is a way also, if the university or institute doesn't have, they can connect themselves with the other. And this is where the multidisciplinary education and interdisciplinary education and credit transfer system, all these facilities have come nowadays with the National Education Policy 2020. So one can study in A institute, and for 6 months he or she can go to B institute or the industry, learn from there, and then come back and do the study. And the most important thing is that the vocal for local is very, very important. So ask the student to connect with the community. Ask the student to go to the nearby industries also, right? Industry may be small, but even if you are able to solve their just water management problem or how to run the system efficiently, solve a pump problem, I think that saves the energy, that improves the productivity, and that is where the building the confidence between the industry and academia. This is also need of the hour. So I think every student should be asked to visit the industry or the society or the community and find out in what way they can take the challenges. And this is where we talk about bridging the skill gap, because it can be, right, whatever the small problem, if they are able to solve, the student will also get the confidence, and then they will move to next level. So coding is just the beginning, right? It is just what you talk about, the infant levels. And then from there, how we can build the products, that's very important. Quality of the product, very important, and how can make it marketable, that is business model. That's why I said that the M component of STEM has the mathematics, management, and money. So this is where M cube is very, very important, because if you give them some idea, the industrialist definitely will come, because when he or she has the idea that this has the revenue. Just like e-waste you see, the e-waste is coming up in a big way. And India imports 100% of all these kind of minerals, critical minerals. If this problem can be solved, if we are able to recover all those metals and then refurbish it to the system, that's also very, very important. And these are the areas where the young generation should be told that they can work, and there are plenty of opportunity for the business. So this is something, right, where you talk about the execution and experimentation, which is nothing but the experimental mindset shift, perfecting technology and validating the need. That's very, very important. And then whatever the specifications are there, and then just take this as a challenge and find out the solution. And this is a teamwork, not the individual work. I think we should promote these things. And then, of course, the managerial or management skill, whether business and leadership skill, that's very, very important. And this is also the part of the learning, that as a team, everybody is the leader there, right? And leadership does not mean the bossing. Leadership is the man that how beautifully you are able to communicate your language so that others should understand. So that's also very, very important. And we should give some of the examples like Narayan Murthy, right, and Bhavesh, and there are several, right. In India itself, we can give the message that they have to not seek for the job after graduation, rather they should know that how they can be a person or they can be an industrialist, that they should be a job provider. So give them the habit of that through startup, develop the business, and then be a job provider rather than a job seeker. And this is what we tell our students also at IIT. So, right, the India startup is taking up in a big way. Lot of startups are already coming up, and there are a lot of opportunities also. So we need to take the advantage of these things now, because the education system has revamped, and how this can be taken to, right, to the next level. How? Because Make in India concept we are already giving. We are talking about that by 2047, India will be third largest with $10 trillion economy in 2030 itself. So I think this is where we have to encourage the students. Then in India itself, there are plenty of opportunities for the business, and they have to find out that in what way the indigenous technologies can be developed by doing the translational or transformational research through their education, and I think these are the need of the hour. So we also have a lot of Section 8 companies, lot of these incubation centers like Tides, I have, right, and more than 240 startups are running in the campus, and we are just, right, connecting ourselves with the national as well as the international organizations. So when you talk about the ideas, right, into real world process, our ideas into innovation and then look for the investment, so there are some challenges also, right? When you talk about the difference between invention and, right, innovation, all of you know that, right, something which is already available in the, right, in the reality, and that can be taken to the next level, and this is where you talk about, right? So you need to take the invention to the innovation and select this innovation into the, right, where this becomes a need of the hour, where the, right, industries can be developed, where the product can be, right, the production can be made, and that is where I think the innovation is very, very important, and that is idea to reality when we talk about. So untapped lab innovation, there are many things, right, which have not been taken, so that can be taken as a technology transfer. There are several, right, companies, NGOs, they are available nowadays who help for this also, and they talk about, right, the startup approach also. So mentoring is very, very important. So your alumni, your other, right, successful examples are available. So some brainstorming sessions, some kind of, right, hackathons are to be arranged, and that is where I think the code to the industry where we can talk about can be done. So industry academia collaboration is very, very important nowadays, because earlier days, the education, academic institutes are working in a different way, industries are working, because industry, they had a mindset that why we should go to the academia, what is the advantage? Because unless you talk about a business model, you know, but fortunately, now the funding agency like Department of Science and Technology, ANRF, there are plenty of things where the projects, when you submit, there should be an industrial partner. And this is also one of the now advantage that every project has the industrial partner, and then there is an interest, mutual interest between the industry and the academia, and the research scholar, and then there is an advantage that, right, this can directly be helpful to the industry, or there can be another industry, right, or new technology which is coming up can be used. So technology transfer, and then when you talk about this gap which is there, this is now bridging. So startup ready outputs which are venture capitalists, a lot of things are there, and I think we need to take these also, right, as an advantage, right, for the future, and that can be, I think, through education and the academia collaboration, these the gaps can be bridged, and we need to find out the stepwise process, and this is where the ideas can be converted into real world problems. So education, I am not talking in detail of this, but you know already, right, the national education policy has given everything now, the flexible curriculum, internship, multidisciplinary education. So the problem of the students where they were thinking only for the computer and IT, right, as a branch when they go for these written exams, now this gets resolved. Because if somebody is doing, say, in A area of this BTech program, which is main program, but if he or she feels that he wants something on computer also or artificial intelligence, he can do additional credit on those, right? After third year, he has. So he will get 2 degrees. One is the major degree and another minor degree. So this is how the opportunities are available, and it can be multidisciplinary, because multidisciplinary is the need of the hour, right? So the different departments like artificial intelligence, you are talking, right, big data analytics, all these are the part of curriculum of every branch of science and engineering. And this is the need of the hour, right? Startup hubs, right? Innovation hubs. So these are also, nowadays, every institute has that, and we have to understand that this entrepreneurship mindset should be developed, right, venture capital. So of course, if even then the 10% out of these, right, students who are coming to the campus, even the 10% of that are going to the startup levels or some of their own industry, I think the job is done. So this is where we have to inculcate this kind of mindset among our engineers or the younger generation. And skilling, reskilling, so that's again very, very important that how Industry 4.0, right, robots, how these will be helpful, right, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and their role in industries, because you know automation in healthcare, right, very, very important nowadays. So how the healthcare products, so now that's why the engineering and medicine, both, the medical science, both are joining hands, because healthcare products are to be developed. For that, the engineering is required, robotic surgery requires the engineering knowledge, and this is where I think the kind of science and engineering and the other branches which are coming, right, together, that's very, very important. And sustainability is very, very important, because when we talk about sustainable society, we have to understand the community readiness level. So technology may be successful, technology may be ready for the business, but unless it has the complete life cycle assessment, that is we call cradle to cradle nowadays, cradle to grave analysis we call, so life cycle analysis we call. So unless the technology is acceptable by the community, I think this technology should not be transferred. This is what the several government agencies now, or several ministries, they have the joint hand, and then any technology which has the community acceptance level, it means low carbon or green technology is very, very important. So we have to find out that how can we do that is zero water discharge, zero waste production, and then develop the products and technology. This is the need of the hour. And then young engineers, budding stars can do all these kind of, right, whatever the issues which are connected with the problems, they can resolve those issues. And I think we need to work on that. And this is a global alignment, because world is changing exponentially. The growth is exponentially, and we have to follow that exponential graph, right? So when we talk about 2047, doesn't mean that only we are progressing, other countries are also progressing. It means we have to make our changes exponentially, then only we can be the third largest, third developing country if we are talking. So that also we have to think that how the world is changing, and then accordingly we have to make our speed also. So this is where classroom to creation, and this is what the motto of the education, that, right, education should be executable, and how it can be used for the societal happiness, that's very, very important, and we have to give that message to everyone. So this is very important, whether it is undergrad or postgrad, right, or master. So all these what you say, right, RISE is the theme, that research, interdisciplinary research, societal connect, so problem for the PhD students also, research problem should be connected with the society or the industry, right, and enrichment of the practical knowledge. I think this is the new curriculum which has given that kind of, right, when you talk about the code, right, and take it to the industry. So this is very, very important that our research should be at par with the industrial need or the societal need. This is what at IIT Roorkee we are doing, right, a lot of these activities, I am not going in detail. So Rethink is again a kind of student developed center, right, and they are developing the idea. So every year generally we have, say, when the students come, we just take to the tinkering lab along with the mentors, we just make them free and ask them to generate the ideas. They bring ideas, out of those ideas we have a hackathon, so we shortlist 50 ideas and then we invest money for them. 15 lakh we just pay, right, to that team if the ideas are successful. And then we connect with them with the industry, and then our tides and I have, right, they help them. And this is how, right, we promote that kind of, right, entrepreneurship skills among them. Then we have a design innovation center, right, all these facilities are available. And this is where I think we need to do how the changes can be made. Capacity building is very, very important nowadays. So sometimes we talk only for the technology, but if you look at, right, very many IITs are there, many diploma institutes are there, and industry, right, they have the manpower. But with the change of the time, there is a need to make them aware about the changes which are, say, artificial intelligence. So many maybe who are not aware of this, how will this work, right? So for that also we have to train them. So I think there is a need to have the capacity building program or capability building program. These are also very important. And I think the government is supporting for this, and lot of corporate social relation funds are also there, and they, right, promote this kind of activity. So off and on we should do these kind of training programs also, right, for faculty. Already there are, like, you must be knowing about this, right, which is called Malvi Teacher Training Program. So now a kind of leadership skill which is being developed, and similarly these kind of capability and capacity building programs are being done among them. So patents, right? Ideas when you have, you can patent it, right? So IP cell is also need, very important. So all these things, right, when you talk about, we have to give them that kind of training. And empathy, right, not the sympathy, empathy, persistence, risk-taking ability, all these things are also, should be trained to all the younger generation, because now it is a kind of business mind that how the, right, engineering knowledge, which is just earlier days for getting the good grade and looking for a job in a kind of corporate sector or a kind of, right, the Google, Yahoo, which is of the order of 1 crore, but now the things are changing, right? So we have to give them that hardcore industries are also equally important, and they have to go think for that also, and revenue will automatically come if they have that kind of idea, they have that kind of thought process and business skills. So this is where I think we have to understand, because every student has a different kind of skill. We have to understand, right? This is what I think the Tare Zameen Pe or Three Idiots, all these movies have also come. So I think we have to learn that what kind of skill. So make them free. Don't restrict them that go to computer science only or IT. This is also, we have to train to the, right, kids, right, and their parents also. Because this is where the, at the 10th onwards, we have to tell them that whatever is their choice, as per his or her choice, we should ask them to study. Don't restrict to medical or engineering. And these are not the revenue basis, but basic science courses are much more revenue generating, like humanities, commerce. These have much more wider application nowadays, which is coming, and all of you are aware of that. I think we should train it to the parents, those who are not connected with the mainframe, also in rural areas, right, village areas. I think we have to train them. So this is also a kind of, right, entrepreneurship cell, because every institute has that. So we also have this at IIT Roorkee. So where we train the students, right, a kind of, right, that how this will be used for their, right, a kind of startup, how to generate that kind of startup mindset, how much fund will be required. So all these trainings, we connect them with the industries also, with our own alumni also. So this is also need of the hour. So this is an annual hackathon, and we just invite from the industries also, we invite from other engineering college also, and then we have these kind of what you call, right, Shark Tank and all these brainstorming debates on selected it, and that is also need of the hour. So all these things, right, I am not talking in again, but Divya Sampark, TIDES, Continuing Education Center, Design Innovation Center, Rethinking, where we train our students, right, they take the help from these, and these are some Section 8 companies also, which are also helping them, and Section 8 companies are supported by other ministry, government, or some industries, which are, right, maybe in private sector. So they support the funds for these, and these, right, when you talk about the startups, the funds are through CSRs, funds are through the different government bodies also, and then the work can be done, and that this is where the, right. So we have now more than 300 startups with this TIDES and IHUB, which are associated with the IIT Roorkee. And this is Aarti is another, where we are talking about automobile, right, sector, so e-vehicles versus other kind of, right, the hydrogen-based vehicles, and that we are working. So this is where, right, the Divya Sampark, TIDES, IHUB, they are connecting with the researchers, innovators, and this is all the kind of activities which is being done at IIT. And the idea is that investors, entrepreneurs, industry, all these are connected through this kind of hub. And this is a hub and spoke model, and we work together with them. Technology readiness level, when we talk about, is very, very important, because generally TRL3, TRL4, right, were the very common in the academic stream, but now how to take it to the TRL9 is very, very important. And then where from the industry can come. So you have to tell them the business model to the industry, that what will be the payback period, what is the profit, and what is the investment, and what would be the raw material. All these things are very, very important. Yeah, just 1 minute, please. So this is where I think we need to do. So just to conclude this, when you talk about idea needs the engineer's founder, not just the engineer employees. We don't want our engineers to go for the job, rather they have to develop something which is either for the society or for the industry, and let them work, right, for their own entrepreneurship skill development, take that kind of risk, and then when they come, right, successful, I think that India itself will have all the Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which we are saying. So we need to build a stronger ecosystem. That's very, very important. We need to build this culture of innovation, because little bit risk-taking capability should be there, and parents should also encourage the younger generation. For 1 year, they can go wherever they want and then think, and if this is successful, okay, otherwise change your path. So this is where, and policy, public policy and all these things are also coming up in a big way. I think the public policy, regulatory boards, all these are also required when we really want that this should be successful. So I'm just stopping myself here. This is the beautiful building of IIT Roorkee, 1847 it was established, 178 years old now. So we are number one if you look at in terms of the establishment of engineers, engineering institute. So number one in the Asia, number two in the world in terms of this institute. So I invite all of you, whenever you have time, please visit here. Thank you very much.